Imagine it's cabin chat on the last night of camp. You're sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by your campers and co-counselors, sharing in the glow of a full day of camp. Your wrist, stacked with friendship bracelets. Your legs, dotted with mosquito bites. Your fanny pack clipped snugly around your waist. There is nowhere you'd rather be in this moment. And as each of your campers answers the question, what's something you learned this week that you'll take with you in your life outside of camp? You're struck by how brilliant these young minds are, how full of passion. And as camper after camper shares something they learned from you or one of your co-counselors, you think about the impact your campers have had on you, smiling through tears as you realize how much they've taught you in just 7 short days. Today, I'd like to share the story of how a moment like the one you just pictured caused a recent college grad burnt out working in tech sales to move across the country and pursue a dream of acting. Hi, I'm Sriracha, otherwise known as Sophia Wilkof. I graduated from UCLA in 2016, where I majored in communication studies and minored in theater and anthropology. My first summer as a Kesem counselor was after my senior year, and since then, I've returned to UCLA Camp Kesem for 3 summers as a TLP and then an LIT advisor. And most recently, I was camp advisor for UNLV's week of Kesem at home. I'll tell you about my non-Kesem life too, but that's all part of the story, so let's rewind. After graduating college, I put my dreams of theater behind me in favor of something more stable, working in sales at a tech company in the Bay Area. 3 months into the job, and I knew that no amount of cold brew on tap, beanbag chairs, or free lunches could distract me from the fact that this job wasn't right for me. But I figured, I don't know, maybe this is just what an adult job is like. By the time I was accepted and gearing up for a week at Kesem at UCLA that summer, I knew that this job was draining me of my energy and taking a serious toll on my mental health. And I felt immobile, not only in my career, but in my life, and powerless to change my situation. I looked to that week of camp like a beacon that might revive me, but I was also worried. First of all, would the teens think I was hip or cool enough? I didn't know how to whip, dab, shoot, or hit the quan, and TikTok wasn't invented yet, so I lived happily under my old person rock. Even more worrisome, I felt so far removed from the person I had been the previous summer. The person who had just graduated and felt like anything was possible and the world was hers for the taking. In other words, my cup was empty. I was determined, of course, to show up with all my energy and heart for my campers and co-counselors once I got to camp. But would they be able to sense that beneath the surface I was feeling disheartened and demoralized in my everyday life? That week of camp turned out to be everything I needed. First of all, it was there that I discovered my particular passion and skill set for working with teens. And I learned so much more than just how to hit them folk and what spilling the tea meant. I distinctly remember sitting cross-legged on the floor on the last night of camp at Cabin Chat, surrounded by my campers and co-counselors, hearing my campers share their goals for after high school, their ambitions to be Kesem counselors someday, their many aspirations for when they grow up. And in that moment, I thought to myself, if these teens who have been faced with so much adversity in their young lives can maintain their lofty ambitions to be the people that they hope to be, why couldn't I find that same passion and zest for life within myself and follow my dreams? At camp, no matter what the hardship I may be facing in my everyday life, I'm able to be my best self and show up with all my hope and my energy for my kids. Why couldn't I bring that spirit with me and apply it in my everyday life? I felt hope for the first time in a long time. Later that year, empowered by that experience and by my campers, I quit my job and moved across the country to New York City to pursue a career in theater. Later that year, one of my campers sent me a homework assignment she had submitted, answering the question, what inspires you? She wrote about Kesem, and said, "The adults that are in my life because of this organization inspire me every day." One of my counselors, Sriracha, quit her job and moved to New York to pursue her love of theater. Little did this camper know that I would never have had the courage to quit my job and follow my dreams without my campers, and that they would inspire me for years to come. One of the most magical aspects of Kesem is what I call this mutual loop of inspiration. Our campers and their parents are constantly telling us how much we give them and inspire them. But we in this room know that it's really our campers who inspire us to be our best selves, who give us more than we can ever articulate, who fill our cups till they overflow. My campers taught me that it is never too late to listen to your inner voice, to follow your dreams, and to fulfill your potential. And camp showed me what it feels like to have that energy fueling me, and proved to me that I had it within me to excel by being true to myself. I am now in a full-time acting training program, and I have never felt more alive, awake, alert, and enthusiastic to be on my true path. While it's true, the Kesem magic is unparalleled, I believe that that feeling we have at camp is your inner voice saying, "This is what I'm meant to be doing right now." And I believe that we can harness that energy and use it to fuel us long after the week of camp is over and the friendship bracelets have fallen off, no matter what might stand in our way. I'm sure that many of you have faced a lot of challenges this year, big and small. You might even feel stuck, like I did that summer after I graduated. And in times like these, it can feel even more difficult than usual to listen to your inner voice and to fight the fears keeping you from chasing your goals. But Kesem has taught us that life is too short, too precious to deny our passions and our dreams. We've each seen our campers overcome seemingly insurmountable adversity to find joy and zeal and hope. They've shown us that we have the power to do the same. So now I'll ask you the question that my campers inspired me to ask myself once upon a time. How will you keep your cup full after Kesem?